Hi everybody, welcome back to the Golden Era Bookworm. Yesterday I posted a video reviewing this book, Arnold, The Education of a Bodybuilder, which I believe is the greatest bodybuilding book ever written, and also a great motivational book. And I gave it my rating and just, I guess, my thoughts about it. Today though, I would like to go through a short summary of the book, and I'm going to split this into two separate videos because the book is split into two separate parts. It mainly deals with the autobiography of Arnold, which is part one, and part one is the autobiography, and part two is the training section. We can see close to the autobiography all the competitions that he won, and to be honest, some of these are not, I don't think they're written correctly. They might be translated incorrectly, but anyway, you've got Junior Mr. Europe in 1965. Arnold won the 66 Best Built Man of Europe and the Mr. Europe as well. He won International Powerlifting Championship, the NABA Amateur Mr. Universe, then the Professional the year after in 68, a German Powerlifting Champion in 68, the Mr. International in Mexico, the IFBB Mr. Universe Amateur in 69. In 69 he also won the NABA Universe Professional. In 1970 he won the NABA again Professional and the Mr. World, the IFBB Mr. Olympia, and then 6 consecutive times after that, including 1980, which is not shown here because this book was actually written before he won his 7th Olympia title. So as I said, part one talks about his autobiography. This is the part that I believe is most valuable about this book. In chapter one, we deal it basically focuses on Arnold's introduction to bodybuilding through soccer training. He joins a gym full of older men who basically take him under his wing, and after starting off with a program of calisthenics, so basically just body weight training, at 15 years of age he then joins a gym and basically was hooked from the moment he touched the iron. I love chapter one because you can really feel Arnold's obsession for bodybuilding, and he just does about anything to train and to get huge, like his idol Reg Park, and without a care really, he goes against all the negative comments and advices from his parents and friends, and basically just powers through to achieve his dream. His drive and determination are just amazing, and you can really feel it as you can read how he devotes his total energy to bodybuilding and to basically bulking up and building a huge, gigantic, as he puts it, that's what he wanted, a huge, massive 250 pound, these are some photos, he wanted to develop a massive 250 pound body. Here's some great quotes here. So he spills a coffee one morning, for example, and his mother asks him, what is it? I'm just sore, I told her. My muscles are stiff. Look at this boy, she called out to my father. Look what he's doing to himself. My mother kept on, why, Arnold? Why do you want to do it to yourself? I couldn't be bothered with what my mother felt. And so he just doesn't really care. All he cares is about getting huge. And There's his idol, Reg Park. These are some more photos. That's him now 16, showing more progress. And as I said, I just wanted to build a gigantic 250-pound body by handling a lot of weight and blasting my muscles. My mind was into looking huge and into being awesome and powerful. My muscles began bursting out all over, and I knew I was on my way. In chapter 1, on page 23, he actually mentions how he trained. He mentions, page 22. From the beginning, I was a believer in the basic movements because that was Reg Park's preference. At the times Reg hadn't accelerated his workouts for some major competition, he would stay with the basic exercises: bench presses, chin-ups, squats, rowing, barbell curls, wrist curls, pullovers, leg extensions, calf raises. These were the movements that worked most directly on all the body parts. So he does rather explicitly say how he trained to build himself up, using Reg Park's methods, basically. Chapter 2 is much like chapter 1. He continues to describe now the effects of bodybuilding that had on his life. He gains confidence, develops his well-known ego, and he gets lots of girls. However, through all this newfound confidence and fun, his discipline remains unshaken. He explains how upon entering the army at 18 years of age, he escapes, goes AWOL, and wins the Junior Mr. Europe contest. Although he broke the rules and was punished, the army sees Arnold then as a hero. And after that, basically the army just shower him with praise. They give him all the food that he wants, they build him a gym, and his instructions are to train his body. And so he sees this as a great opportunity as he grows from 200 to 225 pounds in a year. This is when he joined the army, he was 18 years old, and he was there for a year, so he finished when he was 19. Between the ages of 15 and 18 years of old, he went from 150 pounds to 200 pounds on Reg Park's basic routines. But after the army, he gained another 25 pounds in a single year. It's amazing. So with chapter 2 on page 34, this is more progress shots of him at 17. The previous shots were of him at 16. That's him at 17. And by the way, with every year, his arms went up. So when he was 15, he had 15-inch arms. 16, when he was 16 years old, and 17-inch arms when he was 17 years old, etc., etc. That's him now, I believe. It's still 17. Yeah, 17 years old. Page 34, he talks now about how he starts changing his routine to suit himself a little bit. He modifies Reg Park's routine, adding a dumbbell curl for biceps. And this is the Zottman curl, actually. He says that here, that he adds a dumbbell curl. He's actually stated that he only built his arms before he went to America. The only exercises he performed for his arms was the basic barbell cheating curl and the Zottman curl. And here is when he actually introduces the fact that he does a Zottman curl. I thought continually of making my biceps higher, giving my back thickness and width, increasing the size of my thighs. So he only did, he said, instead of doing just the barbell curl, I did a dumbbell curl too. So he modifies Reg Park's training. on page 39, he actually mentions that, oh yes, he mentions that he would train 6 hours a day. Was it page 39? Somewhere around here. He mentions that he would train 6 hours a day. And for half of that time, because his order was to train, for half of that time he would do Olympic weightlifting, and the other half would be dedicated to bodybuilding. And after winning Mr. Europe Junior, he stopped Olympic weightlifting. It wasn't what he wanted to do, as he says. I stopped Olympic lifting. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I'd done it primarily to prove a point that a bodybuilder not only looked strong, he was strong. And as I said, he mentions that he comes out with 25 pounds increase within a year. When I came out, I weighed 225 pounds. I'd gone from 200 to 225. Up to that time, this was the biggest change I'd ever made in a single year. So, yeah, it was pretty amazing. He actually won the Austrian heavyweight division in Olympic weightlifting here. He says, I competed in the Austrian championships, winning first place in the heavyweight division. So if you want to train like Arnold, I highly recommend that you also get into Olympic weightlifting, because that really built a strong foundation for him. That's chapter 2. Okay. I will stop the video now and continue with chapters 3 and 4, and then make a final video of the rest of part 1. Thank you.